Chair.
Whatever you're comfortable with, I will do.
We'll give just a minute to see if Sarah can get on. I know she wants to-
There it is.
It says private.
We can always change the settings. I don't know why it would be private though.
It's never the.
No.
This is showing everybody though.
Privacy. Well, it's not like it's the thing. Okay, we turn that off.
There he is.
Where have
I thought he said he'd be here.
I have no idea.
You got
Good to see
the
you, sir.
headmaster.
I get to sit at the head of the table.
Yep.
No, because it wouldn't show it because we're not sharing that
You
screen.
can say the opening prayer.
Oh, okay.
Glad you could make it. I didn't, I thought you were out of town still. Or again. I got back yesterday.
Yes. All right, well, we're working to get Sarah in. I know she wants to be a citizen to be heard. I will call this meeting to order. Kaylin is not available today, so second man up. I'm running the meeting today. First of all, we have citizens to be heard. Hi, Chris. Would you like to, you're a citizen to be heard, I take it? All right, go ahead and unmute and let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, well, the reason I'm here is because I'm really interested in the recycling facility. It's one of the things that I love about Moab. And it's something that I was actively involved with for several years with Arches National Park. I did the recycling stuff for their visitor center, not the buckets outside, but the stuff inside, all of the staff things. And we added cardboard to that. We got it from the feast station. And I just want to say that I want to keep this as clean and as clear as we can for residents to use it. I love it. I have reservations about single stream. I know it's challenging. We're talking humans here, but I really was a little concerned, and I did talk to LJ about the single stream buckets that were there. And I just think we have a special community, and I don't want to move away from that. I spent so much time dumping cardboard at Cardboard Mountain for so many years that anything we can do to promote that recycling center and recycling, I'm in favor of. So that's the reason that I'm here. I noticed last time I was there, I saw the buckets, and I was just really concerned about the signage on that. And I haven't been there for a week or so, but I'd be happy to help with the signage. I did it at Arches. I had a lot of pushback on that, but I was persistent, and I think I made a difference. And I think that makes a big difference to this community. Thank you.
Very good, Chris. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Sarah, you're a citizen to be heard.
Yeah, I'm very sorry I couldn't get in, and so now all the material I was going to reference, I have to find again. I know other people wanted to come in. If they don't get this new link, how will they know about it? Have you publicized it?
We could put it on the website.
It's on the website. Yes, I believe.
Can we put it
Well,
on?
I
the
mean,
website?
I went to the link right directly from my email. I went to the link right from the email that you sent out with the public notice, and it just said it was for a 6/28 meeting at 4 o'clock. So anyone else try? I don't know how Chris got in. How did you get
I
in?
got in using the link in the email.
Huh, that's weird. Anyway, I was just calling to reiterate the fact that we have a rare and precious gem in our source separate and recycle center, which, you know, it's tragic to me that any single stream bins have been introduced there. Everything up until that point could be verified to be domestically recycled, and the end markets were happy to get the clean product. So I think there's a lot of ways to go to multi-stream or dual stream, and there's ways to keep the center the precious thing it is right now. And I'm hoping that would, that at the very least, the authority would reach out to experts in the field all across the community and other communities that are experts in the field. So I'm not talking about me. I know a lot about recycling, but there are experts who can talk on that. And I just need to find one thing so I could say, a couple things I wanted to bring up. When I did the grammar request and I found out that 10 of the 18 shipments went to a MRF that does not reclaim the glass. It was horrifying to think of all the wasted fuel and energy to get those products up to a place that was just throwing them out. And you guys having to pay for that added weight. I think if that's going to happen, you really need to educate the public that that's what's going on and that they can drop their glass off at the recycle center where it will be made into new products through verified vendors, not vendors, the buyers, the end markets. I think it's really unfair not to let people know that they're recycling stuff that's just getting thrown out. That's ridiculous. We waste in this country 560 billion containers a year. The amount of toxins that creates is off the charts. And anything we can do to reverse that and start to turn the USA into not the most wasteful country in the world, but the most respectful and recycling country in the world will have a big impact on all the damage we're doing. Downstream, our wasting is killing people in other countries, and we just are totally unaware of it, totally not even concerned with it because we're not educated about it. So I really, wish that you guys would work with experts. I know you all hate me, so you don't want to work with me, but there are other people in the field who could definitely, give enough good information that you all might consider something a little better than putting single stream bins in it. It's like throwing dead bugs in a cake you just made. Like, why would you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. So, I've seen so many iterations to control the center over the last 23 years, and I'm just hoping that this isn't the one that ends it. I'm hoping this is the one that makes it everything it can be, because it has potential galore. And last thing, and I know I'm over time, I've asked and I've sent emails and I've never get any response at all. And it's not like I'm a whack job, but I've asked, can you guys, since you control the landfills, the transfer station and the recycle center, ban e-waste from the landfill? Just like plastic bags were banned from the Moab landfill. Those rare earth metals are sorely needed, and they're about to do some mining 8 miles south of town to get lithium. So we need to be thinking globally, not just, okay, you have a lot of financial bumps in the road, but past them, you need to be thinking about that for the sake of the planet. Thank you very much. Sorry to be, I'm discombobulated because I couldn't get in and my notes got all messed up. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. Any more citizens to be heard? No one in the waiting room?
No.
We've got some chats going on. Is that? Nope, doesn't look like it.
Mhm.
We appreciate you citizens coming forward and speaking your minds. Thank you very much. We do.
We'll be happy to do it again. We'll be happy to do it again if you'd like. We'll wear matching outfits next time.
Kevin, is there any way that we can get Chris to leave her information, her contact information?
Chris, would you like to do that?
So you can put it on his chat.
Yeah, why don't you put it on chat if you can, and then we'll incorporate that so we can contact you. 'Cause
You
we
guys
appreciate-
already have it because she's a sponsor, but
But
Okay,
I
good.
don't. I don't
for
have it,
now,
but
Yeah, Diane would like to have it. You're on mute, Chris. You're on mute. Oh, click your mute button. There you
Ta-da!
go.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've only been here 11 years since I retired and moved out here from Minnesota, but I just am so passionate about recycling. And I went to the workshops several years ago. So I have a sense. I don't know what your world is like. I don't have any idea, but I know how complicated this is. And I know it takes a lot of resources. And I know that that Sarah and I are really asking for a lot, but it just really matters to me. Thank you.
Chris, I
Thank
have a,
you.
a small request, though. I'd like
Yeah.
to have your information so that we could get back with you. Could you leave
Yes,
that
yes,
in
yes.
chat, please?
I'm gonna chat. I know I can figure this out, and if I don't, I will contact you another way, but I'm gonna figure it out because I'm remarkably smart.
Okay,
Chris,
thank you.
if you can't do it, I'll send it to Diane.
It's all good. I got
Okay.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
All right, well, you guys have a fun meeting.
All right, appreciate it, you guys. Thank you, thank you.
Bye.
Treasurer financial report, action item, review and approve the expenditures of the month of June 2023.
We're actually not doing that
We're
this
not doing
meeting.
that,
We're
okay.
not ready. for
Okay.
that This time.
They're not ready at this time. We'll review next month.
Mhm.
We have some staff reports. Mike, take the lead.
Thanks much. And before I start, Chris, yeah, I would definitely like to be able to contact you as well, and maybe we can get together and talk. Thank you. I'd like to basically start each month's report on how my own personal thoughts on how the month has gone. Hectic is the best word for it. It is the heat of summer, the heat of battle. But overall, I think we saw a major increase in productivity. And especially in the last 2 weeks, I think we've seen a decrease in overtime. With Chris taking the lead on the dispatch and getting a grasp of the drivers and direction and whatnot in the last couple of weeks. He's actually been coming in at 4:30 just about every day. So he has been putting in the hours again, and it has paid off. We're really getting some direction and some processes in place that we've been working on for a couple of months, but we're getting there. The drivers have really responded well. They've been working as a team well. There's nothing worse than one guy stuck out there at 5 o'clock and everybody's been gone for a couple hours. Especially in this heat. So I appreciate everyone working together, dispatch, customer service. We've had some changes in there, the way to track things and the way we're taking some calls, and it's just been everybody, and I think overall they've responded really well, and I hope the morale is going up. But overall, good. We do need to note that we definitely hit the midsummer construction slump. They don't want to be out there in the heat any more than our drivers do.
Yeah,
So the amount of roll-off revenue will definitely see a little bit of a downhill trend, especially the last couple of weeks. It did see just today, we saw definitely a bit of an increase, so maybe they're knowing that gotta go to work no matter what. I don't know, but
It's going early.
the new trucks are both in service. This was a blessing, and I'm not exaggerating. There was a week where if we'd had another breakdown, we would not have gotten the routes up because we simply didn't have the trucks.
wow.
And that is not an exaggeration. We were down to our reserve, backup trucks. To be honest, we also had way too many issues with the new trucks. There's always gonna be some tweaking and things that didn't get tightened down at the factory and the pressures aren't quite right. This is disappointing. We've had to put way too much into these new vehicles. Very disappointed. I think it is partly everybody in a hurry to ramp up production again and rehiring people. Some people didn't come back to some of these places, and I think it's paying its toll.
Mhm.
Did you communicate, what did the company say?
We are in the middle of that. Levi and I were just talking right before the meeting. He's been doing most of the talking, but we are going to put it all on paper and make our voices heard starting tomorrow.
Warranty issues or something?
Most of it is covered, definitely. but
It's just a nuisance.
it is a nuisance. It's the truck
You want
speed
them to
down.
learn, you want-
Exactly. And to be honest, once again, with our remoteness, sometimes it's easier and faster if they send us the part and then we have to have our mechanics put it on.
Right.
But we are stepping up, tomorrow and making it, quite clear this is not what we bargained for.
Yes.
But overall, the new trucks, they look good and I think it's a bit of a morale. It is nice to have new equipment, right in a vehicle where the air conditioning is definitely working. That type of thing.
A new small truck's really efficient. It looks like it's gonna, I mean, it hauls.
Can turn on a dime. It seems to, take a good load without, having to pack it very much. We're experimenting with it on the recycle routes. So the two trucks are on the commercial route and right now the recycle route.
Okay.
We're debating on what to do with the smaller truck, but we're working on that as we speak. Drivers and operators, another step forward, another step back. We did have a helper, put in his notice. He said 2 weeks, but the 2 weeks turned into 2 days. But we officially are offering a driver as we speak. He'll probably start out as a helper. He's had a CDL, and we're gonna see what he can do about getting it back. Or,
Is USU able to offer that yet?
is that part of the program? Is that USU or is that?
Yeah, we've actually ran people through. We've had our first successful
So Moab
graduate.
is doing it?
Oh, not
Oh,
Moab.
that's okay, because I talked to him and asked him if they
Um,
could start having them.
yeah, there's been a little bit of conversation, but that was years ago.
I'll talk to him.
But now, yeah, we've had our first successful person go through there, so that's it's
Great.
still
Yeah.
available and.
They're graduated, and we get more people through it, we will definitely. It's a tool, it's an opportunity, so we're gonna try and take advantage of it, and this guy seems like he would be an ideal candidate for it. As of right now, they still have to go to blind. We are still one CDL driver short of where I'd like us to be, so maybe this gentleman can fill that hole. Operators, we're doing more with less. We're currently keeping 2 operators at Klondike 4 days a week. Just for safety, we need to keep at least 2 people out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
plain and simple. Route efficiencies on the upswing, that's part of our experimenting with where we're using the trucks. We've tried to use a small truck for the cardboard collection and the single stream. We're debating on. It's possible, but we're debating on how to move forward at this point. That frees up the driver that normally does that to take some of the weight and hours off of a couple of the other routes. Which is something we desperately need to do. Tablets continue to be used, which is good because we keep working on AMCS. Getting that implemented. I think LJ is going to talk about that later. Hopefully we'll hear from DEQ about the tire removal program. They had 30 days to respond to us, and that should be coming to a close pretty quick. And then we'll be able to schedule that, which will be huge. We did go ahead and order new radios. I think this is part of the bigger process, the bigger reorganizing, how things are done, let alone the safety aspect. We'll be able to reach from Monticello to Klondike,
Wow.
both the landfills and the recycling center. Our radios now, it's not 100%. There's gonna be canyons and whatnot that we can't reach, just like we do now, River Road in places. But overall, it should be 100% better, to say the least.
So you'll be able to reach into Castle Valley?
Once again, it'll be spotty in places, but we should be able to reach it.
Okay,
I think once they're there, I think we'll be able to reach them most of the time.
yeah,
We did some testing, it should be good. But once again, it's just better, more efficient. The sooner you can reach somebody, the better off you are, from efficiency, but especially from safety. So I'm looking forward to that. Once again, it's money I don't want us to spend, but I think it's time and it's needed.
Mhm.
RFP for the financial advisor, the 3 submittals came in last week and we're trying to get together as we speak to pick a finalist and then have the board vote. The RAP Talus contract, the first consultant was finalized. That got delayed in legal for a little bit too long, if you ask me, but it is what it is. So they formally started about 2 weeks ago. There was one kickoff meeting and now we're gonna have weekly meetings. They've requested a bunch of data, information, figures to get started. It's gonna be everything that we need, the long-term rate plan, pay scale, and what they are calling, I like this terminology, revenue sufficiency analysis.
Oh, yeah.
That sums it up. As well as helping to formulate a true 10-year capital improvement plan.
Mhm.
And most all of that is required by the city for the contract extension that we've talked about. We also put out an RFP for benefits brokerage. Basically, this is an effort to see if there's any room to make cost cuts, any better programs at lesser rates.
I'm sorry.
Benefits brokerage, basically our insurance and health,
Oh,
but you work with a broker to get to that, to get to the companies. And that's out as we speak. It's due back August 15th, and we'll see if there's any possibility of any cost savings or program improvements
Right.
when that happens. And that is all I have at this time, unless you have any questions.
How's the number 5 recycling doing up the recycle center?
It is, we empty that probably twice a week, do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah. We've got 3 carts up there and we're emptying them about twice a week. for the number
3
five.
carts now. Excellent.
Well, we have the 3 carts, I'm sorry, we have the 3 carts for the single strand, and then we've got a regular bag, just like everything else.
Right.
And that bag is filling up quite regularly. quite
People have
regularly.
been actually doing a really good job. Very rarely have we had to pick anything out of the number 5s. And most
Wow.
of it is actually number 5s. And staff has agreed that since we put that in there, the amount of contamination that's happening in the number 1s and the number 2s has gone down
Oh,
quite a
good.
bit.
Good,
So
good,
it's
good.
giving us a cleaner product in the end,
Excellent.
and less staff time spent just digging through and picking out stuff that doesn't belong.
I haven't been up there. This, I haven't produced as much recycle as usual. So could you explain to me the changes that are out there, that you have another, 5?
We have a polypropylene, which is plastics number 5. Yogurt cups, cottage cheese cups, a majority of them. There are other materials, but this is just a couple examples. And now people can drop those off there, and then we'll bail them just like we do number 1s and number 2s.
And then the single stream ban, what's that about?
That is to capture other items, because before we had those 2 bins, if they didn't go into the number 2 or the number 1, we just put them in a trash can and they were landfilled essentially. So by adding those 2 things for the things that would normally go into number 1s and number 2s, that now can also not go into number 5s, which will be like your clamshells, those sort of, number 6, number 7s, number 4s, number 3s. Those will go into the single stream, and then we take those, bring those over here and then put them in with our single stream. So basically it's diverting a little bit more material than we normally would. And we're not throwing away what we normally would be throwing away, because now we have a set location for it to go.
So I saw those a couple of weeks ago, and in my household, not everybody understands the 1, 2s. So I get stuff that's not recyclable at the recycle center all the time that I go up there. And so I was thrilled to see the single stream bins. Apparently the citizens to be heard today not agree with that, but I think it's a great idea. It might be maybe some signage is necessary to
I
say.
did update the signage
Okay.
because we originally didn't have any on the single stream. So I did add some updated signage onto that, and I did change out the ones that are above the number 1, number 2, and number 5. But I actually am in the process of redesigning every single sign for every single bin. So it'll have a higher level of clarification. We'll have
Right.
better pictures.
Just updated.
And yeah, just completely update
Starting to be-
everything.
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Basically, we thought about this because I was up there. I don't get up there nearly as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
But a few times I was there and a few people came through that were out of towners and they're like, well, what do we do with this?
Yeah.
You know, what was left? And I'm like, I'm sorry, we don't take those. And they're like, well, from at home, I can always put these out. So I'm like, why don't we just put another bin there?
Sure.
As you heard, some people don't quite agree, but personally, I think we're diverting more material.
Mhm.
That's,
Oh, and then if if you're lowering the contamination,
You're getting a cleaner product.
that is
That's
huge.
huge.
Yeah.
Because it gets confusing. And sometimes it's,
plastics do that on purpose, unfortunately, but yeah.
I think they do. I think it's.
They do, they do.
And eventually you can, I mean, like you said yesterday during the presentation, 5 to 10 years ago, there wasn't a verified market for number fives, but now there is. Who's to say that within the next couple of years, we won't start to find a verified market for number threes, a verified market for clamshells or whatnot. So basically, we're just moving as the markets are
Yes.
progressing.
And
So-
foil balls, pie pans, those type of things, those go in the same stream.
Mhm.
Other items.
Okay, because I have been. Because I don't do the single stream, those type of things that could go in single stream, you could take there.
Mhm.
And it's just
Yep.
3 blue cards on the end.
And folks have actually been doing a really good job with putting items into that as well. I try and periodically check them since I am up at the CRC.
Sure.
I try to periodically check, kind of do a quick peek in, make sure folks are doing it correct. And I have caught a couple of people who've quizzed me on, like, oh, I have this, what do I do with this? And I was like, okay, well, perfect. You could put it here, you could put it here. So it's nice to be able to tell people that, yes, we finally do have a location for you to put this previously unaccepted item at that location. So
Excellent.
after saying no for so long, I like saying yes.
Yes. Well, new signage will help out a lot.
Yes, I think consistent conforming signage will
Yes.
help dramatically. So not
Cool.
our crusty metal yellow signs that we have right now.
And it's a process, so not everyone will see or read the signs the first time they're there. It's just a process. I hope it continues to go good. Any feedback that you get, good or bad, please let us know.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Chris.
So I don't have a whole lot. I have been, like Mike had said, I've been kind of more involved in dispatch and the collection aspects lately. I will have to say, since my tenure here over the last 5 years, this last few months have probably been the most difficult. We've actually, I think, as a district, has kind of faced the issues that needed to be faced. And, in doing so, there's a lot of tough work ahead. But I mean, I think by the fact that we've identified these issues and being willing to face them now, I mean, part of the, our board meeting, some of this financial is that it's a huge thing that needed to be addressed for a long time. I'm happy to see that we're doing that. And operationally, just getting down and getting dirty. I know, Mary, when you went on route, I've been on route, actually working on route a few times. And it was eye-opening to some of the challenges and just let's be honest, these routes were designed 20 years ago and some of the same equipment is being used out there. And our operators are having to deal with this.
Yeah.
So
It was eye-opening and I recommend every board member takes, and rides and the people, the drivers and the helper, they seem to really appreciate it.
Mhm.
They were all saying, well, you come ride in my truck. And I don't know if everybody read or anybody read that editorial I put in after that, but I've had a lot of people call me since then and say, wow, you know, when you said that, I'm gonna call and see, maybe I need to have two receptacles instead of one. Cause I'm always overflowing and,
Mhm.
cause, you know, I just don't think people think of. And I think another article needs, you know, you might wanna look at rotating who doesn't, but I think having an editorial or a small segment in the papers would be beneficial,
Mhm.
because a lot of people don't, they, you know, I get the paper, but sometimes somebody say, oh, did you read that? And I go, I read the paper, but no, I didn't read that. So,
Funny you say that. One of my neighbors this past week, I was like, look at that. I stopped and took a picture. Doesn't get much higher than that.
No, that's
I mean,
pretty
it's
much an
almost
overload.
twice.
Good stacker.
That took a lot of effort to get it that high.
And how does a person get that much garbage? You know, I mean,
I
it
wonder.
blows me
Probably had a
away, you
party.
know?
probably at a gathering,
Yeah, maybe a party or something, but,
or sometimes if you're remodeling.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But that should only be once a month or so, you know?
Is that consistent at that place?
It's not usually that bad, but it is usually overflowing,
Yeah,
because it's just where I come to a stop and I'm staring at it, you know, every.
yes.
I know we have to work through the city with a lot of this. But it would be nice when we do get to the point where we're working with the city that we have something in place that when somebody is consistently.
Yeah.
That if they're consistently overstuffing, you know, doing stuff like that, that they are sent a notice. That, you know, you need to either, you know, so that we can,
Order a second tank or,
yeah, you need to either reduce the amount that you're producing, maybe think of your lifestyle.
yes.
Well, look what you're doing.
Yes.
Or pay for an extra receptacle.
We have tags, your drivers will tag the trash cans,
Oh, they
like they're
do.
constantly overfilling their trash cans. And
What
so
do
that
the
is
people
one,
do?
they'll call, sometimes they'll call.
Sometimes. I,
Most of the time they do call because they're like, well, excuse me, how? And we just either deliver them a trash car or they space it out, so,
and sometimes they'll
They
be
don't.
upset by it.
yes.
To be
absolutely.
honest.
Yeah.
That's a good idea for the future talk with the city, because I do think it would carry more weight too much from the city. But
Oh, and then-
that's a
and
good
then they
example, we can work
be,
together.
You know, if it's something that there's a financial consequence if you're consistent and violating.
Yes, exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. Well, now these new laptops we're using with some, I think we have pictures and video of locations we're picking up, right? Correct?
Oh,
can,
the
with
tablets,
tablets.
yeah.
Yeah, the tablets, yeah, so that's good. We can start.
They'll be able, they are doing it, right now, it's kind of just like if they take a picture on their phone and send it to us.
Right,
But eventually, when we get this fully implemented, they will be able to send it and connect it to that account.
mhm,
So
mhm.
major market. You mentioned the city, I apologize. I don't mean to cut into your time, but last night we did have a presentation to the city.
Yes.
How did that go?
I thought it went fairly well. Jessica did a great job helping me put together the PowerPoint presentation. And I think it was really just a kickoff to go. We'll be talking again in a few months,
Great.
but I felt it went pretty good. So I hope so. So back to you, Chris.
All right, Chris.
Actually, on route, when I went on route, there was a trash can just like that. I grabbed the top bag to throw it in first, so that it didn't spill as I moved the cart over. As I threw the bag in, the sun had made the bag all soft and
Oh,
the
no.
bag came apart and trash went everywhere.
Wow.
So I spent, quickly, because I mean,
Yeah,
you
you
can't go
gotta-
slow out there. So then I had like the inside of that bag and yeah, kind of disturbing some of the stuff I had to pick up off the street, but
Like that.
yeah, that's one of the fun stories that I had on route.
So, you're with the driver. We should actually film that, if we could, even just after the bag is exploded and there's garbage everywhere, we should take pictures and film that. And post that on our sites and say, this is what happens when you overload your cans, especially in the heat, because these bags do not last.
Yeah.
There was a fly on the owl
Oh,
Was there really?
and you could see it. It was like, no, it's still up there, right where LJ's head is. You can see the fly.
There it is.
There it is. There's the fly. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, I see him, yes,
But you're right, pictures, speak volumes.
yes, they really do. Especially a mask. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, so we're still waiting. I haven't gotten a date yet. I know our little pre-meeting, we're trying to figure out the arrival date for the new loader. So when that arrives, we'll kind of have an update and give you kind of rundown of all the cool fancy things that will hopefully improve the transfer station ability to load and control the trash coming in. And that's all I had.
Great, thank you, LJ.
I don't have a whole lot either. Mostly, I just want to update a little bit on AMCS. Savannah's been doing a tremendous job with getting all the data into the spreadsheet so that we could upload it and start our system. She's really worked hard on it. We finally got that submitted last week. So now we're kind of waiting on them to actually upload it into the system so we can start playing with it and do some training. Savannah and I are really looking forward to doing some of the training so that we can then teach everybody else how to do it. So,
Tremendous amount
Yeah, inputting.
of input.
Thank you. Yeah, it's time consuming. I feel relieved now that it's has closed and we can move on and start the process.
I mean, there's a good chance that, there'll be some things that get kicked out that we have to re-enter, but for the most part, the big job was done. So.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great, that's great. Cool. Jessica.
I have a lot. I have been very busy since the last meeting, and this is only a small portion of what I've been up to. First attended the Sustainability Action Plan Technical Advisory Committee kickoff meeting. Both me and Mike attended that. This is a collaborative entity or a collaborative group with a contractor that was working with the city to update the Sustainability Action Plan for the city. I think there's about 10 to 15, I can't remember the exact amount of people that are working as sort of like outside consultants to update the Sustainability Action Plan for the city. Next week, I finally got confirmation today. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, but Canyonland Solid Waste will be the volunteer chef for the Youth Garden Project's Weed and Feed dinner.
Nice.
So I'm quite excited to get that going. I'm working on the menu right now.
Cool.
There'll be a waste theme to that meal.
I'm going to try using every single ingredient that they have available and not any items that need to be purchased from the garden, but I'm hoping that this will kickstart a good relationship with the Youth Garden Project. So if they want to work on any sort of like waste reclamation, especially in regards to food and green waste and that sort of thing, they can always come to us knowing that we've established that relationship.
Excellent.
I met with Alexi, who is the sustainability director at the city, and their new sustainability Vista. And we talked about tasks that we would like to start the Vista on how to increase sustainability in the city and by extension, the county through grants that the Vista could potentially go after. We identified two main routes, which is either potential pursuing of a construction and demolition reuse shed or a food waste prevention program. So we've started working on that, doing a little bit of brainstorming and outlining ways to research that and see if these fall in line with the grants that they're potentially looking at. I'm also in talks with the MARC at the city on collaborating as the trash and recycling coordinator for the upcoming Red Rocks Art Festival. I did that last year. It was a huge hit. I basically just took over the whole booth and separated everything.
Wow. Wow.
So we're talking about bringing that back again and including the food trucks, or not the food trucks, the last year they had 98 Center as their like beer garden
Yes.
and liquor provider. So rather than just doing a single stream, we actually, or I made an effort to separate out all of the glass products that they came with. I separated out the paper products that some of the other vendors were coming with. So I think that we're going to work on making like a source separated and see if we can pilot that and make it a workable feature. And if we can, kind of see if we can push that idea onto other special events.
Sure.
As Mike said, we attended the city and provided an update on basically what the solid waste district has been up to. We also met with the Grand County School District Superintendent and talked to them about potentially introducing some pilot recycling programs, more specifically, maybe source separated, or identifying what waste streams that they're pushing at each one. Like they may not have obviously as much glass, but you know, there may be more plastics in the high school because they have vending machines or something like that. That's kind of talk, and lots of paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, see if we can identify maybe some harder to recycle items. Mary, I don't know if you saw it. I believe you were the big proponent of this, but we finally finished
Yes.
the photo board of all Canyon Solid Waste Authority staff. That was all I had, the printing size larger, but I can blow it up, but I have to see what sizes are available at the printing center. But right now, I just wanted to have it right there, viewable.
I was gonna mention it. I really appreciate it, and
Yeah, that's excellent. That was really, really
it's
good.
gonna make it easier for us to recognize who works here and.
Well, it was helpful for me because I've actually not met like a couple of these guys, so I had no idea who they were. We participated in the 4th of July parade. That was a blast. We got to debut our new truck and our new logo. Kids had a grand old time. I had people stopping me. They're like, "Oh, the garbage truck, that was so cool." Kids loved it. And then last but not least, this is something I just recently it was a bit of a light bulb moment. I had a lady who called who was asking me questions about the number 5 plastics and why we're including it. And she's like, "Well, I'm seeing on your website that you don't have it." I was like, "Well, no, I manage the website, so I know exactly what goes on it." That made me realize that there are several websites in Moab in regards to recycling, and they all have different types of information. And this particular individual thought that website was associated with us. So that's something I want to do. I want to go and start researching ways that we can kind of boost our website to where it's one of the first results that you see on Google Internet searches. If you look for recycling in Moab or trash in Moab or specific things, you know, like where do I take my used oil? Where do I take my HHW? So people will be able to find us almost immediately with that consistent, correct information. Because right now there's a lot of conflicting information that's happening online right now. So that's something I've added to my list, is to find ways that we can make sure that all entities that are providing information on how to recycle in Moab are all using consistent, correct information that falls in line with our actual operations.
Is there a way to bring those other entities in and have them link us? I mean, have us at the top of their link so they can go to us? I mean,
It's
I'm sure.
something we possibly could do, but I only figured this out about Monday, Tuesday. So I haven't really dug into this because I've been spending the past week working on that presentation for the city. So I haven't looked too deeply into what other websites and what they're presenting. So it's kind of, I need to do a deep dive, find the inconsistent information, and then provide kind of like a bulleted, like, hey, this is the website that you manage. We need to change this, and this.
Right.
This information is correct, but this is not. And we're confusing people out there. So
We are, when she brought it to me, like, you're right, we do not come up first.
You bet. That's right.
If we could find a way that we do move up the algorithm or however they figure that out, Unfortunately, a couple of these have been here a lot longer than we have.
So they haven't
They've had more
established,
What are, who's doing that?
we have, there,
community groups that are heavily associated with,
With a Moab solution? Okay.
so it is a little confusing who the authority should be.
but you also have those like random out of the realm, third-party websites. I don't know if you've ever come across those, like if you're looking for a business that doesn't have an established website, but they are listed on, like if I'm looking to see if there's a construction website or a construction company that's still active in Moab, sometimes they don't have a website, but they're listed, under the City of Moab's website as a certified contractor, or they're listed under the Better Business Bureaus as a construction. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of locations that this information could be located. So I just need to do a deep dive and figure out where all the information is being put and then go from there. But that was just something I kind of wanted to, because I know we talk a lot about education and outreach, but one of the first things people do is they go to the internet to search.
Oh, yeah.
And if the first thing they see is incorrect information, that's
You
not, that's beyond my control in editing. It's like, well, I can't help that information right there until I know about it. So it's an interesting situation or problem to have. So I just wanted to say that that's probably part of the reason why some folks don't have the correct idea of what's going on, is because we don't have consistent across all organizations
You
and
bet.
websites. So
Yeah, how many other sites are there out there? Do you know?
I just
Don't have a number.
I just did a Google search on Moab recycling, and the first one that comes up is moabrecycles.org, which is Sarah's group.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Next is Moab City, curbside trash and recycling services. Then there's something from the DEQ, Grand County Recycling Information. Then it's our the Facebook group, that's the Moab Community Recycle Center, still not affiliated with us. Is
that one actually is
that
us.
is us?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we're number 4
Yeah.
on the list
Yeah.
for Moab Recycle. And then the 5th one is the CSWAT, and Solid Waste Authority.
Yeah, so we need to figure out a
We
way
need to be number 1.
to push
Yes.
ourselves up there, and that is like deep diving into Google SEOs and analytics and keywords and stuff like that, which I know a little bit about, but I'm not highly educated on that sort of thing. So that's going to be a bit of a deep dive.
To say the least.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
My son actually used to do that for a job. He doesn't anymore,
Mhm.
but I can reach out to him and the two of you can.
That would be, yeah, that would be good. So that's what I got.
Great. Well, that's a good thing. We can bring us up to the top of the page.
Mhm.
That's where we want to be.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have anything?
Not at the moment, no, but it's some great information that has been shared and things that people are working on. So kudos for that.
All right. Thank you. So we have a public meeting, a public hearing coming up at 6, which is 10 minutes away.
Letter C, board reports if there are any.
Yes, board reports.
I kind of gave mine about going on their truck.
Yes.
Great.
Anything, Chad?
Mine was going to be my comments on the sink stream bins at the CRC, so we already made those,
Uh-huh.
in support of those.
And I've just been, contacted by a few people that really appreciate the number 5s up there now, and being able to drop off the number 5s, and a few comments about glass still being in the single stream, that we hope to make that change soon.
I know, so,
You
the city, just seems like it shouldn't be that big a deal, just frustrating.
Yes, yeah, because we definitely have a home for our glass up on the hill. So we should Well, I think that's a point that we need to make, and continue to make it until it's changed, but we shall see when that happens.
See, Diane.
Diane?
Yeah, I'm just really happy to be able to hear everybody this week.
Yay.
Thank you, LJ, and whoever else helped with that, because that was quite frustrating last time. But I just wanted to report that when I met with Libby Bailey at the HMK Elementary School, I learned that they had been source separating their recycling for quite some time prior to maybe about 6 years ago, when the curbside source separated was discontinued. And so for 6 years, they've been not, I don't think, recycling at all. That's what was told to me, and she confirmed it. And they're quite excited about starting back up this year. We're going to be, and what was really interesting is that what they have in place is the after-school Beacon program, where they use the children to teach them recycling, and the children do the recycling. They go around every week and pick up the recyclables outside of the doors of each classroom at the end of the day. I think it's 1 day a week. And then that was in the past put in bigger bins where they then put it on the curbside. But we're looking at looking at getting some volunteers to come pick up. I'm willing to be there to oversee the children 1 day a week and get that done. But we need volunteers to come pick up the source separated stuff once a week and take it up to the CRC. But I don't think that'll be a problem. I have not got confirmation that that's what they want to do, because of course they can do single stream, but that's not what Libby was telling me that she wanted to do. But I'll check in with her. She comes back to work the 1st of August and confirm that. And then I'll be looking for volunteers. And then I'm on that TAC group also for the sustainability group. And I submitted I was inspired to submit a piece for the Sun News that on food recycling, and they're kind of waiting to see if we can come up with a few more submittals. I asked Jessica if she would have time to submit something that you might like to convey to the public, and then they would like to maybe do a series while we're doing the sustainability work throughout. I think it's December. And have a series in the newspaper of about 4, 5, or 6 different articles on different subjects. So I sent that back to Alexi and she's got all the people that's on this. And there were more than 10. There were like 20 some people that were invited to that meeting. That's a kickoff meeting. So I was encouraged that there was so much representation from the community and so much expertise out there. So anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Diane, I want to make sure that you heard that we did meet with the superintendent this month, and that there should be a follow-up meeting. I just want to make sure you heard that, that's all.
Yeah, I did. And it's good that we know, I don't know if he knows what's going on at HMK, but if he asks, he will find out. And, I'm pretty sure they'll be talking, the principal and he or she, whoever it is.
Any news on the middle school? Do we have a contact at the middle school? I think we said we had a contact at the high school, didn't we?
Yeah, I contacted the Grand County School. I don't know if they're a committee or if they're anyway, I went to those people at the very beginning to find out what was happening in all 3 different schools. And they sent me contacts for each high and middle school, and that they were already recycling. They have a program that they're working on, and it was the elementary school that was identified as having no recycling. And so that made it easy. That's where I went. And I'm not interested in the other ones right now. I just want to focus on the elementary school.
That's the largest population.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
it's big.
Well, that's the best place to teach the kids recycling is in the elementary school, because then they remember it all the way through high school and middle school and everything else.
That's 100% true. They say 5th grade is where it sticks.
Yes.
And it changes habits. Too early, they don't really get it. Too late, they're jaded.
Well, good. Let us know where we can help on that, Diane.
I know when I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to have somebody, I can't remember what organization paid for their salary, but when I was teaching, every year we went on a tour of the recycle center.
We definitely brought that up with the superintendent to tour the landfills.
And then we go to the shelter, the animal shelter.
Yeah, on the way back.
A wonderful field trip. They dropped us off at the village, then we'd walk down to the animal shelter.
I mean, part of the conversation was also the back end, like, of course, you want to meet with kids, educate with them as well, but we also, as part of our conversation with the superintendent, was bringing in the janitorial staff, the custodians, and because they're the ones that also see
That's right.
a lot of that waste, especially from the school lunches and that sort of thing. So that was part of the conversation. Like, yes, or educating the kids, getting that front end with the classroom, but also you want to capture the back end with the
Mhm.
custodians because they see the trash, they see the recycling.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because that's the way you set up a program that lasts.
Sure.
You put it in place regardless of who's there because teachers do come and go. So that's, we're trying to make progress.
Great.
I think you're not trying, you're succeeding.
You know, I think so too. I think we're going in the right direction. We've all got the same attitude and the same intention, so. And Jessica's gonna ask any word back on any of the grants that you presented and proposed?
I'm getting jaded by this grant. No.
All that work, darn it.
It's, they just said summer.
Summer.
So it could be till the end of August.
Uh-huh.
It could roll up
It could
into,
be all the way to September.
it could be all the way to September, but they still haven't changed the awarding deadline of August or of October. My guess is it's going to be anywhere from around mid-August when they'll finally announce. Because you have to provide, if you are selected to receive the award. So that time between receiving the award and actually getting the funds, you have to create a follow-up plan to the 10-page summary that you submitted.
Mhm.
So in that way, they'll only provide you the funding if that plan one follows what you originally submitted and it makes sense. So I'm guessing it's gonna be August before we hear something.
Just around the corner.
Oh my God, it is.
Yes. In a couple of days, you never know.
Okay, so I'm gonna say end of August.
End of August, yes.
My time is way off.
Yeah, next Tuesday's first.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling pretty good about it, just the fact that we made it past the threshold.
right.
And now they just need to determine that our ask has merit. I feel like it does have extreme
Yeah,
merit,
yeah.
considering what we are, where we are, and our demographics and what we're asking for fall directly in line. So I'm.
Okay, well, good. Let's all keep our fingers crossed. Okay, we have a minute before we can open the
Excellent.
up the public hearing. Does anyone want to get some water, take a break for a second? We got a minute.
We have a minute.
Yes, stretch.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, when was that?
It's right now at 6 o'clock.
Oh,
So I'm wondering if somebody's gonna have a forum.
Yeah.
If I can leave one.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna have anybody, is anybody on Zoom? Like we're gonna have any.
Is there any public to hear for the public hearing?
It is
Never
officially
is.
6.
There never is, I think one time. When we were doing our budget, we had someone show up, but they were showing up about. It was when we were still just the landfills. And we said,
Yeah.
well, we don't pick up your trash. They came to tell us. They didn't want it.
No, we had it at
Rock
the
pile,
adoption
rock
of
pile.
2023
Yeah, they were after
schedule.
monument waste. I remember
Yes,
that.
yeah. I
and it
remember
We
that.
had 2 individuals with
No, no.
something to say.
But that's the only time I can remember ever having anybody show up at a public hearing.
This Evan and Sarah.
The 2023 fee schedule, we had those.
Oh, they're showing up today?
No. We were just saying,
They did.
They were
Was it
last
public
December.
hearing?
yep,
Last December.
Oh, that's right. I guess in person. Maybe
in
I didn't
person,
see it.
yeah, no, not in
Yeah.
person. I've never seen anyone in person.
So I'm gonna call to order a public hearing and with some possible action items. It is 6:01. Mark that on your time sheets. And I'm gonna turn this over to Mike, and you can run through our public hearing on adopting the proposed rate increases and charges for services.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We've got 5 resolutions. Pardon me if I don't know if I don't want to just read these, but do I have to legally? I don't know. Does anyone have any input?
You should probably read them for the record.
Okay. I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Okay, I was kind of afraid.
You can also hand it off and say, would somebody else?
Yeah,
We can take turns.
Well, that would help if we could look this up a little bit.
Yes.
I will read resolution 2023-601. These all deal with adoption of fee structure increases. This one is for the e-waste disposal services. Whereas the Administrative Control Board, the board of the Solid Waste Service District Number 1, is authorized to establish fees for services at the district facilities, and whereas a public hearing to hear comments on the proposed revised fee structure was advertised in the Times Independent at Moab, Grand County, state of Utah, on the 21st and the 28th of June, 2023, noticed on the Utah Public Notice website, utah.gov/pbn/index.html, go away flag. And said fee structure was available for public inspection in advance of the public hearing, and whereas such hearing was held at 6 p.m. July 26, 2023, as we speak. Whereas a written public comment period was allowed through 6 p.m. on Wednesday, July 26th. Whereas verbal public comment were permitted during the public comments portion of the public hearing online via Zoom video communication, and all public comments received during the public hearing through the end of the public comment period were taken into consideration. Now therefore be it resolved and enacted by the Solid Waste Special Service District 1 Administrative Control Board that the following be formally adopted as the 2023 fee structure for e-waste disposal service to be effective August 1st. E-waste shall be charged 50 cents per pound for residential materials and 1 pound for commercial materials. There you go.
Thank you for that.
last thing you said. I'm not confused.
E-waste shall be charged 50 cents per pound for residential materials
Mhm.
and $1 per pound from commercial materials.
All right. That's the resolution 2020, let's see,
601.
601. 602. Jack?
Thanks, Jack.
You want me to read all the whereas statements? Because I'm assuming they're the same as what Mike just read.
They are
Do I
identical.
Oh, well,
read
then,
them anyway?
no, then just do the, as stated in the previous, resolution,
That's what I was asking.
then say, therefore.
Okay.
Therefore.
As stated in the previous resolution, whereas statements are all the same, so this one is now therefore be it resolved and enacted by the Solid Waste Special Service District Number 1's Administrative Control Board that the following be formally adopted as the additional 2023 fee structure for Canyonlands Transfer Station Freon disposal services be effective August 1st, 2023. All Freon containing devices, regardless of size, shall be charged $25 per item.
That's great, very good. All right, action item 603.
Are we gonna vote on these, as one, or did we want to vote on it after the read?
Well, I think we have to reconvene the regular board meeting and then you vote on them either together or singularly.
So this is the approval of addition to the, of a locking bar service for dumpsters and roll-off containers. Mike, you wanna, whereas?
Where, can I jump to the end or do I need to say, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So the whereas are the same as in the previously stated, so therefore,
Whereas all documentation and dates as previously stated, therefore be it resolved and enacted, customers shall be charged a $50 installation fee and a $5 monthly rental fee for locking bars.
Okay. Excellent. 604 is the approved and revised roll-off fee schedule with the addition of rates for 40-yard roll-off containers.
Whereas all public notification was made as previously stated. Therefore, be it resolved that 40-yard roll-off containers be charged $800 for 1 hour round trip, $925 for an hour and a half, $1,050 for a 2 hour, $1,175 for 2.5, and $1,300 for a 3 hour round trip. That is resolution 604.
Report. Action item, resolution 605, to approve the revised residential and commercial trash collection services with an addition of a handling charge for excessive amounts of wag bags disposed of in carts or containers and changes to the cost of drive up and backdoor services.
Whereas all notification was properly done as previously stated. Therefore, let it be resolved that wag bags, when found in commercial dumpsters, excessive amounts will be charged a $75 special handling charge. Drive up service, a special service fee of $10 will apply for backdoor or walk up service, and a $15 charge will apply for drive up service.
Very good. Any comments, any responses from the public? None noted. Any comments from the board, from staff?
never got any email or anything.
You want to pull up the email real quick just to double check.
Make sure we don't have any email on there.
And unlike the county, we don't have people. The county, when we have a public hearing, it stays open for a while, but I don't think that's the same in our bylaws.
Okay, so it is right now 6:08, and I will close the public hearing for the possible action items that we discussed. We have new business, which is no new business, and so do we need to have a resolution?
No, we need to make an action. I think we need to say, I make a motion that we accept the items, I'll adopt the resolutions. 2023-601, 2023-602, 2023-603, 2023-604, and 2023-605 as presented.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, and this is a roll call vote. Diane?
Aye. Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kevin, yes. Very good. The resolutions were accepted and adopted. New business? No new business. Future considerations, we have a regularly scheduled meeting for the board set for Wednesday, August 16, 2023. Any more comments? I've come to the end of my agenda, and this meeting is adjourned at 6:10.
Thank you all.
Thank you. That was a lot easier. I was thinking it was gonna, I thought there would be people show up. I mean, on Zoom. I didn't think they'd come in here, but I thought you would have